Good day, my viewers. As we prepare for the 28 elections, I'll be bringing you some commentaries and analysis, also discussing with you policies, the manifestos, and so that you are well informed of the policies, the manifestos, and the candidates that you're going to vote for. But firstly, let's have a reflection of how preparedness is Zimbabwe or ZEC in this election. ZEC has confirmed that over 5.5 million people have registered to vote. And it is also a welcome gesture that over 60% of those are the youth. So for the first time, we've seen the youth registering in their millions, instead of being the bystanders of the political landscape. They are now part and parcel of the decision-making process, and that can be a good thing. We also have seen the youth coming in their thousands to register, not only to vote, but also to register as MP candidates, as councillors. Make no mistake, after this election, the political landscape of Zimbabwe will never be the same again. We are likely to have the youngest parliament in Zimbabwe this year, and including that being translated prior to the local government. Is it a good thing? Yes, of course. This can only be a good thing, especially after having ruled by ZANU-PF for the past 38 years, and where we have seen an economic stagnation, we have seen an erosion of people's social mobility, and what we need is a paradigm shift, a complete paradigm shift. The politics of fear that were perpetrated by ZANU-PF and Robert Mugabe to the politics of innovation and energization. And again, whilst there, we have seen for the first time an energized population towards political consensus. Wherever you go in Zimbabwe, and wherever Zimbabweans are, whether they're in the diaspora, they're talking about politics for this coming year. They've already taken their position in terms of which party to vote for. And yes, again, on the ground, we've seen politicians crisscrossing the country, meeting the constituencies, having star rallies, having meetings, convincing the electorate with their policies, manifestos, and the way forward for Zimbabwe. But the most important event that is happened in the history of politics in Zimbabwe is that part of this energization has been the fact that we are preparing to go for the election for the first time without Robert Mugabe as the ZANU-PF presidential candidate after he was deposed by the army in last November 2017. And we are also going into this election, sadly, without the founding president of MDC, the late President Tsvangirai. But scaffold from that, and then let's review in terms of who are the contenders for the post of President of Zimbabwe. With Emerson Munangagwa, who is 75 years, who have been part and parcel of the cabal for the past 38 years. The same government that destroyed the economy of Zimbabwe. The same government that committed serious crimes against humanity. On the other hand, you've got Advocate Nelson Chamisa, 40 years. 35 years, a whopping 35 years difference between the two candidates. The difference as good as darkness to light. But not only that, we've seen the moment Chamisa was appointed and elected the leader of MDC, and also MDC Alliance, we saw the whole political spectrum energized. There have been a rapturous overtones of political lyrics that has never been seen before. We've seen so many people, so many young people joining politics and rallying behind the new leader, Nelson Chamisa. Each time he has crisscrossed the country, every rally that he had addressed, it had been oversubscribed. Never for so many years has Zimbabweans been so motivated willingly to participate in the election, in the discourse of the decision-making process than it is now. And this is a reflection and a trust bestowed upon MDC Alliance presidential candidate Nelson Chamisa. He has been very clear in terms of policies that will scaffold Zimbabwe to stardom, to catch up with the regional partners, to catch up with the rest of the world. He has been very clear in terms of accountability, in terms of the devolution, making sure that people understand that devolution means evolving. Devolution is evolution. And this is also part and parcel of the Constitution. It has been very clear that the new MDC government will implement the Constitution of the people in its entirety. Despite the fact that it was overwhelmingly voted in the referendum of 2018, ZANU-PF has not implemented the Constitution, deliberately cherry-picking specific provisions that they saw fit, and at worst, some pages on the old Constitution. Chamisa has been very clear in terms of the unit of purpose of the people of Zimbabwe, generational consensus, or call it multi-generational consensus, that all generations, we must accept that we have lost out because of the ZANU-PF system. And that what we need is to unite as a generation, a post-Mugabe era, and make once and for all decision to jumpstart the economy, to put Zimbabwe on the track again as a breadbasket of Africa, which it was 1980. Nelson Chamisa has been very clear in terms of addressing poverty both in urban and in rural areas. That development must not be only associated with the cities. It must also be devolved to the rural areas. Governance issues devolved and localized so that people within the locality can decide in terms of the resources, priorities of development. Again, Chamisa has been very clear that as much as 40 years, he will be a president for all generations. And that he will respect ZANU-PF, even ZANU-PF, as an opposition party and accorded its status of official opposition in parliament. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be coming back to you in weighing the political heavyweights. Although we've got over 107 political parties contesting this election, the number one post of a president of Zimbabwe is pitted between two people. And that is Advocate Nelson Chamisa as MDC Alliance And you, MDC Alliance is a unity of 8 political parties which came together under the banner of MDC Alliance. So we are getting into an election more united than ever before as opposition, with ZANU-PF at the other side, splitting into 4 fragments. Will they be able to rig the elections in favor of Emmerson Munangagwa, like what they've been doing for Robert Mugabe for the past 38 years? Mind you, this is the first time that all the other political parties, including ZANU-PF, we are preparing for an election using a new system, BVR system, which none of the political parties, including ZANU-PF, have used before. And we are, for the first time, going to an election with a new voters roll, after we've removed the dead bodies, unlike the system that we've been using since 1980, where even dead bodies were voting in an election. So yes, we are at the age of chaos, but it is exciting moments. Zimbabweans, hold on the rails. Let us exercise our vote. Let us exercise our rights. And this is the time. And the time is now. Aluda continua. Thank you.